going on, guys? Let's check out this video from Hunter Cry Alone. What is it about? Him crying, same as usual. I don't know why you expect something different from him. You expect better from that loser? All right, let's get into it.
All right, everybody, it's time for Prager Pill. This time it is a uniquely dumb-looking video in which two random women are...
His voice sounds annoying in every octave.
...sitting down to talk about, of all things, therapy. And no, not as to whether or not therapy is a good idea or not. No, the conversation is about whether or not therapy has gone woke. I have no idea what exactly that means, but I think we're sadly about to find out.
There was actually, as you mentioned, there was something that came about as well with the false allegations of sexual misconduct in the Me Too situation, which is another example of groupthink, right? Believe all women? I mean, obviously, that's ridiculous. As a psychologist, of course, we know that women are fully capable of manipulation, of dishonesty. I mean, I don't understand why that would ever...
I thought that was obvious. Everybody is, you know what I mean? No matter what you are.
Obviously, if you want to be as obtuse and dense as humanly possible, believe all women sounds kind of silly because clearly we shouldn't just believe all women blindly no matter what they say. However, that slogan is clearly getting at the problem right now within society that when a...
In no way, shape, or form does that slogan make any damn sense. I don't care how he's about to try to explain it, that don't make no sense. Just want to let you know that, right? You don't just believe anybody, okay? Nigga, no. No, people be lying. Man, woman don't matter. People are nasty. Don't just believe anybody because of their gender or whatever.
A woman makes an accusation, she isn't believed. And there's a whole ton of skepticism passed on to her. People that are abused and violated don't usually want to talk about it. It's very unlikely that somebody is going to lie about being abused in order to get attention or something. Most likely, if somebody's talking about it, it's already taken a whole bunch of strength and bravery to get to that point. So it doesn't mean...
There's a lot of people that would talk about things like that for attention. Or maybe even payments for their house. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you.
We just forget about the trial because a woman said so, he's guilty. But no, it means believe her that she's suffering and that she went through something and needs support. And let justice run its course.
Prove it. Right? You know what I mean? I'm just in general. Everything should be proven. This nigga's bugging. You don't just believe anybody. That's crazy.
And, you know, I've worked with women that have admitted to having made false allegations. I've worked with men that have been, you know, the victims of them. But I was invited to speak and to answer your question about what happened with my own community of colleagues in this area. I was invited to speak by Families Advocating for Campus Equality, which is a nonprofit helping young men that have been falsely accused of sexual misconduct. They invited me to speak in Washington, D.C., and they specifically said, please don't publicize this in any way because we're so, you know, we get harassed at all of our conventions. So I told nobody. I did write into a listserv of psychologists and ask if anybody wanted to share any scholarly references about the subject of false allegations of sexual misconduct. And
now, of course, some things probably have changed, but this just comes up at the top. From 1993, false rape allegations were only around 2 to 10%.
So you went straight to Google. I should have known the tapping was a bad sign. I should have just known. It's tappity tap.
So an incredibly low margin there.
Crap.
Within 24 hours, another member of the listserv wrote in and with a flyer for this event where I was going to speak. I have no idea how he got it. And he said, this is what Dr. Carmichael is really trying to ask us for because she's going to be speaking for this organization. I suggest that none of us, you know, should help her, you know.
Yeah, there's a newer study as well right here on CNN that also shows. Study suggests the prevalence of false...
It's like he's not even hearing her. And I hope he censors himself. Probably doesn't. I need an editor. I need someone that's not going to charge me an arm and a leg, though. Preferably someone who can match my speed, right? Be able to give me some clips every day if you can, right? But yeah, that's hard to find.
Reporting on sexual assault is between 2 and 10%, according to the National Resource Center.
Oh my gosh.
You know, with this, because
this video probably ain't gonna get monetized at all. Yeah. Check me out on Patreon or sign up for memberships if you're able to.
You know, hateful and all of these things. And I was shocked. I mean, that they couldn't even entertain the idea that there could be young men that could be falsely accused of sexual misconduct. And how could we potentially help those young men that such a broad stance. And this person was not in any way chastised. Other psychologists actually kind of piled on. And I was shocked. And so I then went and I did.
I'd be very curious to know how exactly she went about pitching this idea, because obviously if you've been falsely accused and your life is turned upside down as a result, you might need help and you shouldn't be ignored. And obviously you need to be able to talk about what happened. Is that how she pitched this idea? Or was it much more like, well, we know women can be lying, manipulative little bitches. So what?
So you believe women, unless they have a different opinion than you. That's great. Yo, oh my gosh, this is a contradiction. You should just believe them. Just know that we're going to shelter you and take care of you. Unless you disagree with my politics. And I question everything after that. Question everything in general, nigga. How about that? How about we question everything just in general? We don't just believe anybody based off of whatever. It's crazy.
Why don't we do some kind of seminar for guys who've probably been falsely accused? Because, women, lol. Like, how much
I see people saying happy Thursday. How you doing?
Really was it
Shout out to the people watching me on Twitch.
a good, honest pitch? And how much was it just sort of assuming that I bet a lot of women are lying? I don't know. Okay, I genuinely don't know. I'm just wondering.
Did speak, and part of the engagement included sitting with a small group, about 12 young men that had been falsely
If you're watching, this sounds crazy, me cutting right at this point. If you're watching like a clip, an edited version of this video, I'm live streaming. You could watch that on Twitch, or you could check out my live channel. Should be able to find it on my homepage somewhere.
accused, and they shared with me these really heartbreaking stories about how they tried to go to talk to a therapist about the trauma of being sexually of being accused, and how it was hard for them to trust women and talk to women, and how could they move forward in this. And they said that repeatedly the therapists would accuse them of having actually been guilty, and that the therapists were not helpful to them, that they would essentially re-accuse them, re-traumatize them. And,
again, people think that like therapists are all just these magical, perfect people that never possibly mess up or do anything wrong. Most people have.
Though he's not defending these disgusting therapists that's traumatizing these people. No, he's not sitting here defending that. That's crazy. Whoa.
Have to try multiple different therapists until they find one that actually works for them. Similarly to medication, you might have to try multiple different medications until one actually works for you. So obviously what those guys went through, it's unfortunate, it's sad. That isn't appropriate behavior for a therapist to be behaving like, for sure. But at the same time, you can go talk to a different therapist.
Anybody makes mistakes, guys. Whoa. I would think people that's in charge of your mind, right, would, be more careful than just to point fingers. Maybe that's me.
And you think, like, what if a victim of sexual abuse went to a therapist and the therapist said, you know what, I think you asked for it, right? To me, it's the same thing. When you take a young man who's been falsely accused, he's seeking help, and then the therapist says, I think you did it. And all 12 of these men had a similar story. And I then went, maybe foolishly, back to the listserv, to ask if, later if any therapists would be able to take these referrals, because FACE was really FACE Families Advocating for Campus Equality. They were really looking for a therapist that could help these young men. Therapists are oftentimes very eager for referrals. A lot of them have great therapy skills, but not the best business skills. And they struggle to get clients sometimes. So I put it out there thinking, oh, well, they'll want to help these clients. Crickets.
That's just awful.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean,
So like one therapist corporation is unfortunately not really behaving appropriately. And now this means therapy has gone woke? What? Couldn't it just be like a problem with some malpractice within this one therapy corporation?
It's like he didn't even listen to any of the things that she's been saying this whole time.
Or whatever it is that you're talking about. This doesn't mean all of therapy is just gone woke. Also, I'm going to need therapy after hearing this woman's voice. It's so grating and annoying.
It really is.
I mean, these boys, it's like they're...
I'm not trying to pose too crazy, but you can't say nothing like that. Hunter Cry Alone has one of the most annoying voices I've ever heard in my life. That jam is bad.
Guilty, even when proven innocent. And it really ties into the whole Title IX thing on campuses right now, where these boys are suffering. I mean, and we're not there for them. And I would also say that probably the women are going to suffer from this idea as well of Title IX, because it puts it into the young girl's mind that she's a victim all the time. Right? If the boy is always going to victimize, then the girl is always a victim.
Wait, why are they talking about Title IX? It's a federal law that was passed in 1972 to ensure that male and female students and employees in educational settings are treated equally and fairly. It protects against discrimination based on sex, including sexual harassment. They're fucking crying about this? Oh no, boys can't be boys anymore and just try to look up girls' skirts and sexually harass a bunch of people. Title IX is a federal law that prohibits sex discrimination in institutions of education.
I wonder why these people would need therapy. With disgusting people like you that just flip every single thing that's said. I wonder why. This nigga sounds crazy.
That receive federal financial assistance. So something that is just a net positive. Students can report incidents of sexual violence to their school or to local law enforcement. Schools must respond promptly and effectively to reports of sexual violence. And this is not limited to only women having the ability to make these reports. Anybody can make these reports. So men who are victimized can benefit from this as well.
Absolutely. And of course, it hurts the ability of girls to trust boys and to see them as allies. I mean, when you say Title IX, I'm not even sure exactly, which part of that you mean. Like being Title IX, it's a verb now where, girls can accuse boys of sexual misconduct and the boy gets...
Again, it's not just girls accusing boys. Anybody can accuse anybody with that system.
Expelled from school without any, discussion of that. And then he has to come back and basically get tried, by a kangaroo court of a bunch of professors. He doesn't even get to, confront his accuser. And the worst part is that, as you said, the girls are not only seeing themselves as perpetual victims, but they're also learning how to wield that as a weapon. So
So not only are we now just claiming that like women see themselves as victims, we're now flipping the script and saying, actually, it's the boys that are the victims. The boys are the victims because now they're just going to get falsely accused, even though Title IX.
What is nasty behavior from you? You do know that's not going to get you more females, right? I just, I'm wondering, is that, he's just going to use them as a human shield. That's all he really is going to do, is use them as a human shield.
And has been around since 1972. Just now, it's going to pick up. Look out.
So sat with women that have acknowledged that, they've either have done or have thought about making an allegation against someone, and that they've threatened them as well. And I've also talked to men that have been through this, where a woman says, it's almost like the reverse. Like instead of a man saying, sleep with me or I won't promote you, it's like the woman is saying, promote me or else I'm going to accuse you of having harassed me. So
this is so absurd. So now we're just victim blaming flat out and then turning it into not only the victim.
That happens, dude. That happens all the time. The fact that he's just able to just sweep that under the rug is crazy.
Are more at fault, but now it's the victims that are actually the perpetrators.
In one sense, the women are seeing themselves as perpetual victims, but they're also weaponizing that, which is obviously not good for them. It's not good for the men either.
This has nothing to do with therapy going woke. Lady, you didn't even understand Title IX. So this is obviously why they're freaking out about it, is the Biden administration finalized its Title IX rule. Schools have an obligation to address all forms of sex-based harassment. Schools are required to act promptly and effectively to address sexual violence and harassment, as well as train employees on their obligations. This is literally just a benefit to make it easier for people to report if they've been abused or harassed. It's actually like a good thing. And these people are just like, well, women are evil, you see? They're going to use the fact that they're victims to make men sad.
Strange voice wasn't much different from his normal voice.
Okay, Prager Pill, why do you curse me with your presence? If you want to support the channel, please.
Never going to support your nasty ass channel. I think Hunter's a loser, fam. I think that he just heard whatever he wanted to hear. Whatever kind of agenda he could push. But that's just my opinion. Tell me what yours is down in the comment section.